Well, story time-ish. Look, I've been driving for Wilson for about 6 months now, pulling Prime's freight. Been in and out of the Prime terminals, like in Springfield. Talked to a lot of Prime drivers now. Y'all, a lot of you are coming into this industry and going to these training companies to get your CDL, signing up for 6 months or whatever. Signing a contract to work at a place in an industry you ain't never been in for months without having a first clue. Don't do that. Don't do that. Every state will pay for it. Every state. In Oklahoma, it's called a workforce. But it's a federal deal. The states get money from the feds for job training, like boat techs and stuff like that. It'll cover truck training. I did it. I went into Workforce Oklahoma, showed them my pay stubs. I was poor white trash. They was below the poverty line. They said, all right, take this test. I took the test. They said, you'd be a good accountant. I said, I'd be a freaking terrible accountant. That's horrible. I know. I want to be a trucker. Told them my stepmama's a trucker. My daddy was a trucker. They still got connections in the industry. I got, my name means something in the industry. I know what it's like. I didn't know what it was like. I know what it's like. I can make money. Got it, lady I was talking to had to get approved by a supervisor. They paid for all of it. They were willing to pay for my CDL license. $25. I wasn't worried about that. But they covered the $5,000 for the school. Look, when you start driving, you're gonna be a taxpayer, baby. You might as well let the state do something for you before you start paying them. Don't sign that contract. Get it paid for, and then go in. Because if you've got your CDL, and then you go to one of these training companies to get your first 6 months experience before you move on to a better company, you're not going to be paying them back by proxy. You think if you go to Prime and you get your CDL, you do your 2 months with your student trainer in their truck, and then you go back and get in your own truck, you think you're making the same amount of money as everybody else there? No, you're not. No, you're not. But if you walk in the door with a CDL, you just might be. It don't even matter. I went six months with Warner. Then I went to Crete. With Crete, I made $48,000 my first year there, like $51,000 my second year there. Something like that. It was right around $50,000 both years. Making pretty good money. Compared to, before one of my best years was $34,000. So $50,000 a year. All right, we're living now. And when you go in there on day one, and the recruiter says, hey, you want to own your truck? Tell them no. You don't want to own nothing. You don't even want to own a load bar on the truck. Just look. Nobody walks into a job, entry level, their first day, without a clue about the job and goes 6 figures into debt. Nobody. Trucking is the only industry where they try and make you do that. Don't do that. Get at least 2 to 3 years under your belt in experience. Pay attention to your loads. So you're going to be running across the country for, Chicago to California or Vegas or Salt Lake City, then back over to Ohio. You're going to be getting some miles some of the year. Then other times of the year, you're going to be running around in circles. You're going to be bouncing between Kentucky and Georgia, and then Ohio, and then Kentucky and Georgia. And that's what you're going to be doing for a little bit. That's when the rates are soft, when the loads aren't there. That's why dispatch has you running like that. Yeah, you're going to get mad at dispatch because you ain't got those long loads. That ain't dispatch's problem. That ain't their fault. That's the loads. 4 times a year that happens. And it starts at the very beginning, right after New Year's. Loads drop off. Rates go to hell. And it comes back up around, March? drops back off in toward the end of May, beginning of June, comes back at the end of July, drops back off in September, comes back in November. You can set your watch to this. If you don't know that, you got a problem, man. That recruiter's going to tell you you can average $1,500 a week with a lease. No, you can't. Their drivers average $1,500 a week. I average $1,800 a week. I've got years in this business. Years. I've been on route for 6 years. Before I came over here. I know it. I know how to run. I know how to use my clock. I know how to make it all legal. I know which cities to ditch. I know what to bypass. If there's a wreck on the road, I probably know how to get around it. And I know, depending on the city, I know if I want to take my 10-hour break early and run through overnight to get there in the morning. I know how to do all this. I've been there for years. You haven't? Don't sign the lease. Because you cannot make $1,500. If I'm averaging $1,800, I'm not the only one. There's guys out here with more experience than I've got, making more than I am. That means the new guys are dragging the rate down, dragging the average down, which means that you ain't making $1,500. Don't listen to them recruiters. It's like going to the damn Army, scoring a 165 on the ASVAB, and going to artillery. Because the recruiter said that's what you qualify for. No, it's not. He just got a quota. he gets a bonus for that. That's all it is. This is week 1 in boot camp. Everybody crying about my recruiter lied to me. Drill sergeant said, yeah, he did. On Sunday you can call your mom and complain. For now, drop. Same thing. Don't nobody care. Nobody cares. The recruiters lie. That's the way it is. Don't listen to them. Don't let somebody... That's their business. They're getting paid to get you in there. They're getting paid to try and get you to sign up for your CDL and sign a contract with them. Or try to lease a truck with them. They're getting paid to try and get you to do all this, to recruit you into all these programs. That's their business. You are your business. Don't let them run you. They don't make good business decisions for you. They make good business decisions for them. Now me, I went out of business at the end of 18, thanks to Freightliner, and 2018 was a bad year. There was no freight, and the freight that there was wasn't paying nothing. Everybody was losing money in 2018. And by the end of 2018, I'd lost enough that when the one box went out on that Freightliner, oh boy, I'll never own another Freightliner. I went out of business. I couldn't afford $15,000 for a one box. When I had my W9, I rebuilt the engine. A cat. I rebuilt the engine for 12. About $15,000 for a box that holds the SCR. Freightliner sabotaging the damn industry. Don't ever buy a used Freightliner, because what they're doing, they're selling those to companies brand new. The companies sell them off at about 500,000 miles. That's about all the one boxes got, guys. At 600, 650, it's out. I would have had the money for it if everything else hadn't gone wrong, but it did. And this is what it is. This is the industry. I ain't gonna lie about it. I was out. I was ready to go back company driver. I ran for a local outfit in Okie City till the pandemic hit. Then I came over to Wilson to try and run refrigerated freight. But I read their contract on their lease. It's an actual walk away, so I ain't losing nothing. I don't care. If it works, great. If not, I don't care. I'll be right back where I was when I started. Company. I can go get another truck. I don't care. But look, before you go owner operator, you need to know the industry. Dry freight is different from refrigerated freight, which is different from flatbed. I've got years in dry freight. I know how that runs. I don't know nothing about refrigerated. This is all new to me. I didn't see a drop in June, so I'm hoping that's a good sign. We'll see next month. It's August now. Let's see if it drops off in September or October. I'm prepared for it too, so we'll see how it works. But if you're new to it, you don't know to prepare for this. You don't know that there's going to be weeks with soft settlements. You're not going to know that. So if you start making $1,200, $1,300 a week, all right. You're not making that. The truck is. There's a difference, man. You don't run a business by taking every last bit of profit, taking it home and spending it. You can't run a business like that. You have to see this stuff. You have to see when you're taking your truck in the shop. You have to see when you're having a blowout. You have to see all this stuff. And be prepared for it, because yeah, you've got a maintenance fund. That ain't gonna cover everything. I've got a 5-year, 500,000 mile warranty on this Pete. I've already had it in for warranty work. Didn't pay a dime for it. When the check engine light came on and I went in and had it checked, it cost me $200 for them to plug up to it, pull the codes, print it off, and clear them. The warranty don't cover that. Now I had my own thing to do that, a little handheld for my Freightliner, but it's got a PACCAR engine in it. That had a Detroit, so I've ordered a new one. It's at the house. I'll get it when I get back through. That way I won't have to pay that no more. But here's what I'm saying. There are expenses that it's just not going to cover, and you don't know that if you've never been in the industry. You don't know how to run a business if you never run a business. So talk to people. And when you talk to people, don't talk to Billy Bob. Yeah, he's got a stretched out W900 all chromed up, painted nice, looks like $1 million, talking about how he makes $250 a mile, all miles, 4,000 miles a week, got his own authority. Don't listen to Billy Bob. He's lying to you. Either that or he's running illegal as he possibly can, and you don't want to be Billy Bob. Don't nobody need that headache. You want to try and get your own authority? Fine. You want to deal with that headache? Go for it. I don't. I don't care if I can make an extra 10 grand a year. It ain't worth the headache to me. And Prime has one of the best fuel discounts I've ever seen. When I was in Landstar, for instance, they had a good fuel discount now. But if there was a week where you were still paying the IFTA taxes now, if there was a week where your IFTA taxes that you paid on your fuel was not enough to pay your actual travel IFTA taxes, there was a byline on the settlement where they took some money out. You owed them money. Never saw a credit. I always owed them money. They never owed me nothing. Now, with Wilson, they run under Prime's cards now. Their com data and everything. All Prime's discounts are my discounts. So they run their system the same. So with Wilson, I'll see deductions for every time I fueled for the amount that's on my receipts now. Then I'll see another area where it shows they paying me for my fuel discount, and then I'll see the line for the IFTA. They repay me all the IFTA taxes that I pay at the pump, and then they just take out whatever my IFTA is for the routes I ran. It's much more transparent system than Landstar. I like it a lot. I'm making more money now than I was at Landstar. But, his refrigerated freight just pays a little bit better. And instead of getting 65% of line haul, I think Prime pays 72%, I'm getting 70%. As Wilson is a third-party carrier, they keep a little bit more. I know that they've got a lot of stuff worked out with Prime now. So Prime might be taking, 10%, 15%, and then Wilson is taking the other 15%. I don't know. I don't care. I'm getting 5% more line haul than I was at Landstar, and I'm pulling Prime trailers, so I don't care. I'm making more money. Their business is not really my business all that much. As long as I'm getting loads and my business is successful, you guys, quit worrying about how many people are ripping you off. I promise you it's more than you think. Don't worry about it. You can't double book loads. There's a law against having 3, 4, 5 brokers in the middle of a load. You know what there's not a law against? Having 3 carriers in there. You know what all the brokers did? They all signed up some of their drivers' trucks or somebody's trucks. They got themselves MC numbers. They're all carriers now. They can be in the middle of it. That patch wore off. Everybody's screwing you. Get used to it. When's the last time you took your truck in the shop and they didn't charge you $150 an hour? Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's this industry, man. It's never going to change. The 4 horsemen can go out of business and it won't change. They won't because they're driving all this stuff. But if they went out of business, it wouldn't change. Freaking Amazon take it up. And we'd all be working for Amazon. Oh, hell. Anyway. Look. Don't listen to, I ain't got no panties on. That's the same dude that's telling you you ain't a real trucker if you don't have chrome and a long nose. It's the same guy. It's the Baba Booey up in New England. It's the same dude that says if you don't own your truck, you're not a real trucker. Don't let that idiot make business decisions for you. He's running around with no panties on. Don't let him make your business decisions. Don't let him run your business. Don't let him talk you into making bad decisions because he's shaming you. He don't even own his truck. He's fleecing. He don't own nothing. Don't listen to those idiots. Make good business decisions. Read everything. If you decide to go to Lone Mountain or to Wholesale Truck Finance or to anybody in between to get you a used truck, first, don't buy International or Freightliner. Ever, for any reason. I don't care if it's $5 for the truck. You're going to go out of business. Don't do it. But anyway, I don't care who it is. There's going to have an aftermarket warranty. You better read that, man. Yeah, read all the covered parts. But when you're done with that, read the limits of liability, man. I'll give you a good example of limits of liability now. When I was in that Cascadia, the fuel pump was cannibalizing itself. There was a loud grinding sound coming in. TA told me it was a belt squeaking. So there was a loud grinding noise coming from the fuel pump. It sounded like it was coming from the air compressor, but they're right next to each other. I wasn't sure. That's why I took it into TA. See if they could tell me which one it was coming from. I pulled it in Freightliner. Fuel pump's going out. And it's grinding and cannibalizing itself, so it's sending shards of metal all through the fuel system. Tore up 2 of my injectors. Had to have the fuel pump replaced, both injectors replaced, and the fuel system flushed. Everything covered under warranty now. That aftermarket warranty, it was all covered. With a $4,000 limit of liability. I had to come off $5,000 myself now. Like that when that one box went out, they wouldn't cover any of it because they had a $3,000 limit of liability on the after treatment. And I'd already had the sensors go out. So I'd already used that limit of liability on a $2,800 repair for there's like a little box with all the sensors in it. One sensor goes out, they had to replace the whole thing. And Freightliner is absolute garbage, man. It's just junk. But you had to replace all that. So I had no. The limits of liability will kick you hard. Don't expect that to do much for you. First off, it's not going to cover those parts that go out. And second, if it does, it's only going to cover about half of that. You better have some money put back. 2018, I had so damn many things go wrong with that truck, and the rates were so low. By the end of it, I didn't have money left to make up the rest of the limits of liability. After that damn $5,000 for that was in October, I was done. I was still trying to recover from that when the whole ass one box went out. Anyway, that was a bad year. But we're gonna make up for it now, or something like that. Don't sign nothing. until you're ready. You've got to get some years in. Just trust me on that. Talk to anybody. Yeah, 80% of the stuff's going to be BS, but you'll get some nuggets from it. And some of it won't even smell bad. You got any questions about anything? The business, the industry, how I'm doing, my averages at Wilson, how I do at Prime. You got questions about your truck? I worked on the Cat in my W9. I worked on that whole W9. I adjusted the clutch myself. I did everything on that thing. Did the same on my 14 Cascadia. Anything that I could do, I did. Still can do a lot, but still ended by parts. I know quite a bit about these trucks. Not everything, like the automatic transmissions. This is my first one. I came out of an 18-speed into this. I don't know. But it's alright, I guess. But question about anything, I'm happy to help you, man. Just message me. I'll do whatever I can for you, brother. I won't loan you money, but I'll give you some advice. I'll tell you what works for me. Y'all take care. Good luck to you, brother.